he couldn't use every scene in the novel. So, but here's one that talks about Helen Hayes out on the Scottish Highlands, and he is dogged by an airplane, and he has to dive for cover. So, ring any bells? By Northwest. So the scene, the idea stuck in his head, and then it took another 25 years later for that to come out. And so part of another fun aspect of studying Hitchcock is looking at his source material and seeing how he saved these ideas for later, and he really wasted nothing, and he just stuffed his head with all kinds of ideas. He died with a huge library. So here's the scene that we just finished with in 39 Steps. So that's Robert Donat playing Richard Hannay, and there's Annabelle, and there's Hitch in the middle directing them. And they're in his kitchen getting ready to eat haddock. And so a couple of other ideas that came out of this film and his collaboration with Charles Bennett. One, the MacGuffin. You've heard of the MacGuffin?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a few people. So the MacGuffin is it's the thing in the movie that the characters are after that the audience doesn't really care about, but the characters need to be chasing because without that there wouldn't be much of a story. And so Hitch is known as the father of the MacGuffin. Not true. It was actually Charles Bennett, his writing partner, who came up with that. Another item was the double chase. So Hitchcock used to say that he liked novels that had a lot of chases and a lot of psychology, and he would translate that to the screen. And so a double chase is you have your guy who's on the run and he's being chased by the police, let's say, but then he has to chase the bad guys down in order to bring them to justice, clear his name, get the police off his back. So it's called a double chase. And Hitch said that was allowed the audience to run with the hounds and run with the hares, so to speak. So again, it's a hallmark of Hitchcock movies, invented by Charles Bennett. Another theme that's in the 39 Steps that Hitchcock revisited again and again was the wrong man theme. The wrong man who's been unjustly accused, who has to go out on the double chase to blah, blah, blah. So this idea of the chase and the cross-country spy caper chase was 39 Steps was a huge hit for Hitchcock, and he loved it so much he did it 5 more times. So Foreign Correspondent, 1940, and that's the one with the windmills. Saboteur, that takes place in America, North by Northwest, of course, and in each of these films. Again, he wasn't making. If you want to enjoy his movies for entertainment and the fluffy comedy suspense value, great. But there's so much more to them, and again he had much more serious intent behind them. So every one of these movies has a moment where the comedy stops and it's as if the director has wiped our grin off our face and said, this is serious business. North by Northwest, one of the characters tells Cary Grant, that wars are hell, even cold ones. And Cary Grant says, well, maybe we should learn how to lose a few wars if this is the human cost that we have to pay in order to try to win them. And it's a very pacifist message, especially in 1959. So North by Northwest has been credited actually as being the first James Bond film. So it was right after that the producers of James Bond, they were getting ready to make Casino Royale, and they saw this movie and they approached Hitchcock and they invited him to direct the film. He turned it down, but the Casino Royale could have been a Hitchcock movie. They were copying it. If you look at the early James Bond movies, they just ripped off Hitchcock all over the place. From Russia with Love has that helicopter scene that's just like the scene in North by Northwest with the airplane. And so, understandably, Hitch felt kind of territorial around this genre. And he liked films, but he wasn't so sure about the fact that James Bond movies were light entertainment, really. And he knew there was more to the story, and he wanted to settle that business. And so his final spy film in 1969 was Topaz, and that's about the Bay of Pigs and all the machinations behind that. And you know, if you haven't seen it, it's late work and it's a cracked masterpiece. It's not perfect, but it's got some absolutely wonderful scenes, and it explores really what that human cost of spycraft and you know, international intrigue really is. And so all of this, you know, goes right back to his childhood. That in addition to all the fun and games, he really had something deeper on his mind, and that's why you can watch his movies once to get the story, second time to enjoy watching the story unfold, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times to, you know, pick up all these other details.